Have you ever stopped to think about how connecting to Wi-Fi at home is totally different from connecting at the office? I mean, at home, it's usually one password for everyone and everything. But at work, it feels like you're trying to get clearance for a top-secret mission. They both get you online, sure, but one is like a simple lock on a door and the other is a full-blown security system. So let's dig into why your work Wi-Fi is built like a fortress.
I want you to start with this one. Simple and honestly, kind of chilling idea. Your wireless network has no walls. The second you turn on that Wi-Fi signal, your digital perimeter just vanishes. It's sending data out into the open air. In theory, anyone in range can reach out and touch it. And that right there, that's the fundamental problem that keeps IT security folks up at night. Just think about the difference for a second. A classic wired network is all contained. You can literally see the cables running through the walls, you know where the jacks are. It has a physical, tangible boundary. But a wireless network, man, that's a whole different game. Its perimeter is made of invisible radio waves, spreading out in every direction, passing right through walls, windows, you name it. This means someone could be sitting in their car in the parking lot, effectively touching your network, and you would have no idea.
Now, to really get why the corporate solution is so intense, we've got to start somewhere familiar. Let's talk about our home networks. This is the system we all know and use every day, but it has a massive critical weakness when you try to use it for anything bigger than a household. You know that password you've got written on a sticky note stuck to your router or your fridge? Well, that's part of a system called WPA2-PSK. The PSK stands for pre-shared key, and the name really says it all. It's a single key, one password that's pre-shared with everyone you trust. For home, it's simple, it works.
But what happens when you try to take that simple one-key-fits-all model and drop it into a complex organization with dozens or even thousands of people? Well, the cracks start to show almost immediately.
Let me paint a quick picture for you. Imagine an employee. Let's call him Dave. Dave has the company Wi-Fi password, just like everybody else. And one day, Dave decides to leave the company. So Dave packs up his desk, says his goodbyes, and walks right out the door. But he's not just taking his favorite mug with him, he's also taking the one and only key to your entire wireless network. He could, theoretically, just sit in the parking lot and still have full access to the company's internal resources. That's a huge problem.
So what do you do? Well, the only way to plug that security hole is a logistical nightmare. You have to change the Wi-Fi password, and then you have to tell every single employee, reconfigure every printer, every smart TV in the conference rooms. It's a massive, inefficient pain. Okay, so how do businesses solve this mess? It's actually pretty smart. They don't hand out a key to the front door to everyone. Instead, they hire a bouncer.
And that bouncer has a name. It's a system called Radius. The best way to think of a Radius server is as the bouncer at a super exclusive club. It doesn't care about some password that everybody knows. Nope, it wants to see your specific ID to decide if you, and only you, get in. And this is a very smart bouncer. It has a guest list, which is usually the company's main employee database, something called Active Directory. When you try to log in with your username and password, the bouncer checks your name against that list. It also has a strict rule book full of policies set by the IT department. So it not only decides if you get in, but where you're allowed to go once you're inside. So what does this look like in real life? Okay, so you open your laptop and type in your work login. You're not actually talking to the Wi-Fi hotspot directly. That hotspot, or access point, acts like a security guard. It sees you, takes your credentials, and radios the bouncer, the Radius server, and asks, hey, is this person on the list? The bouncer checks its guest list. If your name's on it, you get a green light. You're in. And our friend Dave, who left the company, the second he was offboarded, IT scrubbed his name from the list. Access denied. It's clean, it's instant, and it's incredibly secure. But hang on. This bouncer system, as cool as it is just one piece of the puzzle. It's part of a much bigger, much more robust system designed to lock down those invisible airwaves. The security protocol itself is just beefier. Most home networks use WPA2, which is good, but it has known vulnerabilities where a determined hacker could potentially guess your password. Enterprise systems, though, are now using WPA3. It works hand in hand with that bouncer to create a unique, securely encrypted tunnel for every single user. It makes it astronomically harder for someone to snoop on your connection and try to crack your credentials. So let's just put this all side by side. For authentication, home networks use one password for everybody.
Work networks use individual logins for each person. Who does the checking? At home, it's just the router itself. At work, it's that central bouncer, the Radius server. And here's the kicker. When someone leaves, at home, you've got a huge headache. At work, you just click a button and disable their one account. The security level really jumps from just good to excellent.
All right, so we've got the security logic down right, the who and the why. But what about the how? Like, what is actually going on with that invisible signal floating through the air, and how does that fit into the security picture?
At its core, Wi-Fi is just radio waves, and they mostly come in two main flavors, 2.4 gigahertz and 5 gigahertz. Think of the 2.4 band as the long-distance runner. It's a bit slower, but man, it can really go the distance, punching through walls and floors. It's the signal that reaches the parking lot. The 5 gigahertz band, on the other hand, is the sprinter. It's way faster, but it has a much shorter range and gets stopped cold by the first thick wall it meets. Companies can actually use this to their advantage, using the short-range 5 gigahertz signal in sensitive areas to literally keep the network from leaking outside the building. It's a physical layer on top of their digital security.
Okay, we've gone through a lot of tech here. The bouncer, the guest list, radio waves. So what's the big takeaway from all this? Why does your company go through all this trouble?
Here it is. Your office Wi-Fi isn't really there just to get you on the internet. It's a gatekeeper system. Its number one, most important job is to stand guard and protect the company's most valuable asset, its data. We're talking financial records, secret project plans, customer information, the whole shebang.
So that unique username and password you have to type in every day, it's so much more than just a login. It creates your own personal, secure tunnel onto the network. It's what gives the company the power to instantly grant or revoke access for any single person without messing things up for everyone else. And maybe most importantly, it's your digital ID badge. It proves to the network that you're not a stranger, you're a vetted, trusted user who belongs there.
And all this really leaves us with one final thought to chew on. We've seen how your work network is designed from the ground up to be a fortress with bouncers and guest lists and strict rules, which kind of makes you wonder, is your home network really just a single locked door with one key that you've already handed out to everyone you know?